Welcome back to Strike Pro. In this video, we're going to show you how to register bowlers for a tournament. Let's get started. As you can see, we're on the tournament dashboard of Strike Pro, and we've already created our first tournament, my first tournament. We'll go ahead and click on the register bowler button here. All right, and as you can see, we're brought to a blank bowlers registration page. And as you can see from the configuration settings in an earlier video, we have our singles handicap main tournament. We've got our singles scratch optional divisional tournament, a female scratch optional division, a females handicap optional division, as well as the brackets for each set. So we've got the scratch games 1 through 3 and games 2 through 4, as well as the handicap games 1 through 3 and handicap 2 through 4. You have a scratch eliminator, handicap eliminator, scratch high game, handicap high game, etc., etc. Okay. Up here, we have the doubles pairing. This is where we would add new bowlers or add new doubles pairing teams. We'll get to that in just a moment. Okay. So there's a couple different ways you can add a bowler. Let's start with the most simplest way. The first way would be just by clicking this Add Bowler button. And what will happen here is that you'll bring up this modal, as we'll call it, or window. And then you'll have a list of where you can select your bowlers. Now, this will look at your global bowler database. We have imported roughly around 50 bowlers just for the testing purposes. But you can either select a bowler here, so Alexander Brown, and we'll say Alexander is going to bowl in lane 1. Now, you do have an option where if you know that Alexander would say, hey, I'm going to get into everything, all events across the board. So you can just click this all in and it'll check all the different boxes. The one caveat is that you'll still have to choose the amount of brackets that that person wants to get into for each set. So let's just say that Alexander wants to get into 4 brackets for each set, games 1 through 3 and 2 through 4 for both scratch and handicap. And then we'll go ahead and enter the fee amount paid. So as you can see down here, you've got $260. And now the amount remaining due is 0. So go ahead and click Add Bowler here. There we go. You see Alexander Brown is now in this particular event, enrolled. And as you can see, all the check boxes here, or check marks, indicate that they are enrolled into that particular main tournament and optional division, and the amount of brackets as well. So the second way you can add a bowler would be to go ahead and click Import. There's a couple different ways you can do this. We have an empty template, or we have pre-filled from roster. Now, let's say you have a global bowler database of 100 people in it, or 500 people in it. If you know you're going to have a lot of those bowlers in the roster, or you just want to make it easier to import, you can go ahead and click this pre-filled from roster. And what will happen once you have downloaded the bowler roster, which is essentially your global bowler database, you'll see in this one we have 53 bowlers enrolled, or part of our global bowler database. They all have this unique ID. Like I said, this is not something that you need to worry about. This actually helps the app import bowlers. So this is their unique ID for each bowler, such as Van Halen, William Clark, et cetera, et cetera. So do not touch those bowler IDs. But let's say we want to import, select bowlers such as Mia Anderson and Oliver Brown. You just keep them on this particular list. But if you're going to say, hey, you know what, we're just going to only enroll 20-something bowlers, we can remove all of these different bowlers. You can move them individually by row, whatnot. One thing you could do is that as you enroll the bowlers, let's go back for a minute. As you enroll bowlers, if they're on this list, you could just put, let's say, $60 here for the main tournament enrollment fee. Now, there is an option here for the column. As you can see, you can also enroll them in the optional scratch singles, which is the opposite of the main tournament of the handicap singles, which would be $30. So you could just put the total paid as $90 here, and then just put yes. Now you could go up and down this list and just enter bowlers as such. Okay. All right, I've taken a minute or two, and I've gone ahead and pre-filled a lot of this template here. And as you can see, we have some bowlers that are registered for both the optional scratch singles and the main tournament format of handicaps, indicated by the $90 and the yes here. But then I've got some other bowlers that are just going to be in the main tournament. So their entry fee is only $60 here. One way to really just help this out is if we go ahead and just filter this, and we'll filter down to the blanks. And one way, these bowlers are not going to be part of the tournament, right? So we'll just go ahead and delete them. Then what's left is all the bowlers that will be imported into the tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we'll go ahead and import these bowlers. All right. Let's go ahead and import these bowlers. Now, we're back into the import bowlers screen. How we got here again is by, on this register bowlers page, click to import here, and then click on select CSV. Okay. And then as you can see here, we have our roster that we had just saved. Go ahead and open this. Now you're brought to this review and match bowlers page. Now, this is some of the secret sauce that helps with the import process. What it does is it looks at all the existing bowlers in the global bowler database and reviews what you're trying to import, and it gives a match score. As you can see here, there's a 100% match. A lot of this is driven by that unique ID that we mentioned earlier. So as you can see, they're automatically checked, and there's a 100% match rate. It shows you what their average was, what their USBC number is, and if you open up this little toggle here, it'll also show their average here as well as the USBC score. Now, if they had bowled in a previous tournament, you'd also see the last bowled tournament that they bowled that you ran. So it's a nice little feature. Now, for example, if you wanted to skip this bowler and not import them, or they're not 100% match, even though they say they are, you can create a new bowler as well, which will add a new bowler to your bowler database and also add them to the tournament. So everything looks good here. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. As you can see, we're going to add 28 bowlers to this tournament. Go ahead and click import. All right. We successfully imported 28 bowlers. And as you can see here, we have all of the singles, main tournament, and optional divisions enrolled for those who chose to enroll. And then you have your amount paid. Now, one thing that'll be coming in the future is adding all the other optional divisions as part of the import, where right now you can only import the main tournament and the optional. Now, what you can do, though, this is what I call the speed edit, right? As bowlers decide to add side action or add other optional divisions, you can come in here, click on this button here, which would either open up, select all the bowlers and allow you to edit them all at once. So if I do that, I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Click edit here. And as you can see, you can now edit any of these bowlers and select and then change all of their values in here. Okay. So you can select that, enter 4 brackets across the board. And then you can update their total amount paid again over here. So we're going to just stay, let's just add this one here. Go ahead and click these. Okay. Now that we've made changes to Oliver Brown and Mateo Miller, we've entered them into some optional divisions. They've given us a number of brackets they'd like to be part of in each set. We've added them to the optional side action as well. Go ahead and click save here. And now that'll update their information. So as you can see, we've got Oliver Brown on lane 3, decided to enter the female scratch. And as you can see, we also have the bracket entries as well as the side action here. Looks like for Mateo, we didn't select a lane, so we can go ahead and update that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the individual bowler and not the whole bowler list like that. Just click the individual bowler, then I can edit the one person, and then I can select a lane. One nice feature as well, once you click on this drop down, it'll tell you how many people are registered to that particular lane. So you know if you have a person per lane limit that you'd like to adhere to, at least you'll know how many people are registered. So let's just put them on lane 1 with Alexander, and then we'll just go ahead and save. All right, now you have 2 people registered to lane 1. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and make some additional edits, and we'll come right back. All right, welcome back. So I've made a few changes here. As you can see, we have a lot more bowlers registered for optional divisions. A lot of brackets have now been entered for bowlers. Got some side action. We've also got the amount paid, so the amount collected. So right now we've got $2,750 currently across all divisions, the whole tournament, et cetera, et cetera. So go ahead and save this here. Okay, well, everybody's enrolled. We've got 29 bowlers enrolled in this tournament. So let's move on to doubles pairing, okay? Now, when a doubles pairing, this is a non-blind doubles tournament, meaning that bowlers will enter their doubles team as they feel fit. So in order to pair bowlers, go ahead and click on this doubles pairing toggle at the top here. As you can see, you have a list of all the bowlers that are now registered in the tournament for both scratch and handicap. It's the same list. Okay. Now let's say Alexander Brown and Benjamin Clark wanted to get into a scratch doubles event. All you'd have to do is come in here and click Alexander Brown and then Alexander Jones. And what it'll do is create a team name. You can override the team name if you'd like, but by default, it's going to take the first and last name of both bowlers. The entry fee per team is $50 here. So once you have the amount collected, just click Create Pair. And what we'll do is we'll move it over here into your paired teams. So you go ahead and click on that and do that for many, many bowlers here. We'll do Benjamin Clark and Chloe Taylor. Again, $50. Now, as you can see here, if I select Alexander Brown, Alexander Jones is grayed out, so you can't pair them more than once in a particular division, scratch or handicap. So you have all the others to choose from. So let's go ahead and select Oliver Brown. All right, we got 3 entries. Henry Scott, Jacob Taylor. All right, I'm going to fill out some more bowler pairs, and I'll be right back. So we've completed our pairing for both scratch and handicap doubles. We've created 10 different teams for handicap, as you can see here. And we've also got 10 teams for the scratch side as well. So go ahead and click Save All here. Actually, let's go back to this registration page. Now, just one thing to note, as you can see, there's no column for doubles. You're really going to want to go back to the doubles pairing toggle, and this is where you'll see all of the teams. It's not included in that register bowler because this is really about the individual bowler and not the teams or of doubles, trios, single, or doubles, trios, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save All here. It just says successfully registered 0 bowlers for this tournament. What that's really saying is that saying all the updates were already made. You really didn't have to hit save there, but if there's unsaved changes, this will show you what they are. Okay. So that's it for registering bowlers. Pretty simple process. We've got a lot of efficiency built in here with both the speed edit as well as the import. I think the import is one thing I know of that I've heard from a lot of directors that sometimes can be cumbersome, especially in moving to a new platform. So we've built this to help for moving onto the platform of Strike Pro, but also help speed up your tournament entries as well. So you can actually spend more time with the bowlers and making connections rather than be inundated with the minutia of managing a tournament. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's move on to the next video.